Hi everybody, we're here today with Dorothee Ritz from Microsoft. She's the General Manager of Microsoft in Austria, and she's been with Microsoft for 14 years. Welcome, Dorothee.
Thank you for having me.
You've been with Microsoft for 14 years, several years in Austria as General Manager. What has your experience been working for this company for more than a decade now?
Now sitting here today and having all of the Microsoft business being cloud-based and having been through that entire transformational journey of Microsoft itself from a very much on-premise, very corporate company to a very agile, cloud-based, customer-focused services company has been a tremendous journey. So it actually really feels very short.
Mm-hmm. On the 27th of October, 2018, something very special happened. Microsoft overtook Amazon and became the world's second most valuable stock-listed company with a market cap of more than $820 billion US. What's the reason for this success?
Well, I think from my perspective, what's even more amazing is that Microsoft 10 years ago also was amongst the top 5 valued companies of the world. And I think that actually tells us a lot what Microsoft is and also what helps us to be successful today. Because yes, you know, as Satya, our CEO, always says, is tradition doesn't count unless you can innovate the future and create the future. Mm-hmm. But actually what's important in this time where companies move to the cloud, particularly the big enterprise companies move to the cloud, is trust. And that you trust in the partner that you have, that you trust that it doesn't take over your business, that he actually is moving into your business, that he protects your data, and that you just have a reliable partner, because the exciting things right now is that enterprises, not only startups or the new business world or the consumer world, that also the entire big commercial world now moves to the cloud in a big way. And a lot of the success of Microsoft is that we have been a trusted partner in the past and actually have been driving a lot of innovation and, you know, also gained the trust of being that trusted partner with very robust, scalable platforms and innovation, artificial intelligence, IoT, all of that, to take them into the future. And I think that makes it very remarkable. If we are number 1, 2, 3, actually, I don't care. Yeah, but I think to be that reliable partner over such a long time, having that experience, also probably that company maturity that helps us a lot, so that the big businesses can relate to us, that matters a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Satya has been in the CEO position with Microsoft for almost 5 years now. So what have the major changes or initiatives been that he drove forward?
I think the core initiative that she drove was a culture from the core of Microsoft of how we work and how we collaborate and the way that we innovate. He broke down the silos that were in the company in order to, and made us very customer focused. And well, I came from the consumer business, so that related always very much to me. If I don't talk to customers and put them first, in the consumer world, you don't have a business, you know, but it can be a bit different in the commercial world. Mm-hmm. So from my perspective, so yes, I mean, he kind of opened Microsoft up to be a platform that now collaborates with everybody. So now we make just as great products for the Windows platform as for the other operating systems, and also the enterprises can bring a lot of their core infrastructure. I mean, we now own GitHub, and so we are one of the most exciting open source partners. And you know, if you look a couple of years back, it was Microsoft versus open source. I think that makes us very interested from the outside, but I think important also to gain the trust from the companies is all of the companies have to go on the same journey. Now they have to transform their culture, they have to break down the silos in order to make that digital transformation to a new company. And they can relate a lot to the journey that we have been through, that Satya has taken us to. So I think that actually that core cultural change of growth mindset, every day learn something new, talk to somebody different, is really, really big.
You mentioned the acquisition of GitHub. What was the primary motive behind this?
I think it's very, very clever because over the last years we have become very open and a very trusted open source partner. GitHub is one of the biggest platforms where developers are and where they put their code and where they grow. And you had relations with GitHub for as long as WeAreDevelopers is around, I learned just lately. So I think it makes a lot of sense because we just really want to bring the entire value to our customers, and a lot of the value sits in GitHub these days. And so it's a testimony that Microsoft is not that closed ecosystem anymore. It's really a platform, an intelligent platform, with a lot of capability, but where you can actually bring a lot of other partners and ISVs and application layers to that equation, and that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Where is the value created by acquiring LinkedIn for Microsoft?
Now people, of course, are mobile and move a lot and use a lot of cloud services. So what LinkedIn does, it adds that working graph, because LinkedIn knows about your first application, when you first write your first CV, to your working life, the courses that you take, the people you relate to in your business life, probably also like who you apply to, maybe more than the company you actually work for. Mm-hmm. So it adds that entire working graph to that knowledge base of what the modern workplace is anyway. So it is a huge asset. And so that's one thing. And the other thing is LinkedIn is also the biggest learning platform and HR platform. So these days, actually, one of the core topics that we talk with the customers about is like, how can we actually skill up our workforce? How can we make them better prepared for the future? And LinkedIn plays a huge role in that. So it's a great partner to have. No matter if you look at, Gartner, McKinsey, and all of those different studies, the numbers of what kind of growth artificial intelligence, IoT, cloud business can drive into the future is huge. Is huge. We only tapped the beginning of that. And I'm truly convinced it is for everyone. And yes, the artificial intelligence tools should be put into the hand of everyone, particularly small companies, because they can drive a lot of value of it. They can approach customers in a way they have never done before. We can break down language and collaboration layers in a way that we have never done before. And so, yes, and I think also, like, you don't make a lot of money with AI tools. At the end, the value is created by the services you provide or even the hardware that you create for it. And so, yes, I think we really need to put it into the hand of everyone. I think it would be a shame if we just leave it in the hand of a few large companies. But I also believe that and that's what Josh says, and that's what Satya also says, is like we need to really build the trust and the right reliable framework for artificial intelligence in order to really get it widely accepted and widely spread. The one thing that we are promoting, which I think is the right thing to do, is to say, artificial intelligence, for example, needs to be beta tested and bug tested in the same way as you would never ever put out a software that hasn't been beta tested before. And of course, these biases are part of the thing that we need to test. So kind of what do you need? You need really frameworks that make it very reliable. And I think the core of all what Microsoft believes is important, one hand is to put it into the hand of everybody to make it really available. It is great if an AI application is free and people can just innovate on top of it. And the second thing is that the core foundation must be that it actually is the human and artificial intelligence or the computer and not one versus the other. So it should always be, and that's the frameworks we need to create, that it supports us in our creativity and our thinking, decision making, all of that, but it definitely shouldn't replace it. Like also the entire digitalization so far was very much focused on cost saving. I would love to see so much more innovation that actually creates that money, that creates that next level of economic growth. But that means like really using it for new business, new service models, something as a service type of product or services that is more in the, hey, how can I create more value than how can I save cost.
What's particular about the Austrian market versus the other markets that you've experienced?
We just launched a study together with Ernst & Young on artificial intelligence compared to other European countries. So we can actually stay in the context of artificial intelligence. And the companies still don't believe that digitalization and artificial intelligence has really a big impact on their core business. Yeah, so that it's really totally irrelevant to what they have. So they don't feel like it's a big disruption. They don't fear disruption in the very near future. And so they think, well, it's important, and they definitely believe it's something that's coming in the future. They don't see it apparently, so they don't make it day to day. The other thing that came out of the study is that it's very much still residing in the IT department of the companies. And I think that has several big impacts. The one thing is if the boardroom doesn't believe that that's their future, and they don't spend, 30-40% of their forward thinking and their daily lives on questions that have a lot to do with digitalization and hence artificial intelligence, IoT, and so on, prediction. It's not there yet, no? And so we won't see that level of innovation. Yeah? And I think also like it takes a different culture in the organization to actually get to that level of innovation. If we think of artificial intelligence, and a typical example is a bot. Yeah, if you don't take a bot to school and basically nurture it like a child into adulthood until he actually really is excellent, you won't get there. But if technology resides in the IT department, what happens a lot, it doesn't have that training spirit on A/B testing and making better, a little bit like a campaign, yeah, or marketing. It basically has this, we tried that, it hasn't worked, next, no? And so it is a very different cultural approach of how to get to that level of excellence. Yeah. So you actually get a lot of answers of, we've tried that, it didn't work, probably in a couple of years.
Being the general manager of a country in Europe, working for an American organization, what is your perspective on Europe's competitiveness in terms of digitization? Where do we stand in relationship to the US, in relationship to Asia? And what do you think are the biggest challenges that Europe as an economy is going to face in the next years as a consequence?
There's a lot of greatness in Europe because we have so much experience in a lot of the core industries that will be digitalized over the next couple of years. So I think we also have a lot of assets here, and also that we have some very, very good R&D and innovation hubs in Europe, so that we are actually well positioned to kind of like take the next step. But we also really have to do that because, and I think the entire discussion around data and data ownership and GDPR, I think it's a very good example. It is the right to ask the question, and Microsoft applies GDPR across all the globe, every country, not only in Europe. Because, those are very valid questions and create the trust that we need to really kind of go very broad. On the other hand, what we have to be careful about is like if artificial intelligence, for example, is created in China, we know they probably apply different standard to train that artificial intelligence that it would be trained in Europe, which means like it has very different functionalities. Probably some are very, very attractive, and they will be very fast to market in Europe. So I think we really have to speed up, and the best way to do that is actually kind of to do that together, because I think it's very hard for just one market to do that. But we just have to invest, no? And we have to invest in I think that the most what we have to invest is in education and skilling up. Yeah, and I would probably, if I were a politician this day, I would pour all my money into education on kind of all levels, from elementary schools to technical high schools to companies. Because if you could skill people up, if you could get them ready, I think I wouldn't worry about our future, also not here in Austria.
Yeah, so thank you very much. It's been really fascinating to hear about what Microsoft is doing in the cloud, in AI, to hear your experiences. And yeah, we look forward what's going to come in the future.
Me too. Thank
Thank
you.
you.